What's up, YouTube? Team Moose here. Here's my throwback segment where I talk about the films that turned 10, 20, and 30 this week. Alright, the films turning 10, we got A Good Day to Die Hard, which was, of course, the fifth installment of the Die Hard films. I did not really hate this movie as most people did, but it just wasn't as, it didn't really felt like Die Hard. It just really didn't live up to the name as Die Hard. But it is an okay film, in my opinion. I mean, the Die Hard films, yeah, they have tumbled down and everything, but they are really entertaining. It is a shame we're probably never really going to see Bruce Willis as his character again. But, I mean, Bruce Willis, gave us some. Of course, the original Die Hard. It's one of the greatest action movies of all time. It's really entertaining, and just the other ones, I guess maybe outside of Die Hard or Avengers. Of course, the other ones did not really do as good as the first Die Hard film. They didn't really live up to the first film, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess. All right. Also turning 10, we got Safe Haven, based on a book by Nicholas Sparks, starring Julian Huff and Josh Jamel and Kobe Smulders. If you guys don't know much about the story here, Katie Feldman, played by Julian Huff, moves to a small town on the North Carolina coast. Determined to make a new life for herself, she takes a job as a waitress and keeps a low profile, but she is soon won over by the warmth and caring of the close knit community, especially that of widower Alex, played by Josh Jamel. With the help of Alex and his children, Katie learns to love and trust again. But when a mysterious stranger arrives and starts asking questions, Katie's dark past tries to reclaim her. Now, of course, Nicholas Sparks did wrote books like, obviously, The Notebook, which got turned into a feature. This is actually nowhere near as good as Let's Say The Notebook, but it's actually a really cute, charming film. I thought the chemistry between Julian Huff and Josh Mel was decent. Not a bad little film in my opinion. All right, also turning 10, we got Beautiful Creatures, based on a YA novel. Now, this was one of the few films that was trying to, capitalize on success and become the next Twilight or the next Harry Potter and all. Become the next, YA craze. It did not succeed that at all. If you guys don't know much about Beautiful Creatures, it starred Eldon Ehrenreich. This was actually his first big role, like his first major foray into films before, playing Han Solo. And so, if you guys don't know much about the story here, you got Eldon Ehrenreich, who plays this teenager named Ethan Wade, who sees his static world shaken by the arrival of Lena Dushanas, played by Alice Angler, the niece of town patriarch Macon Rafferwood, played by Jeremy Irons. Immediately, Ethan feels drawn to Lena, and even though her destruction seems to be surrounding her, and she has supernatural powers that are beyond control. Here, of course, they do fall for each other and on. I mean, you also had some really good cast members like Rachel Brosnahan, Zoe Deutsch, and Emmy Russell was in this. You had Tiffany Boone, Viola Davis, Emma Thompson. It was not that great a film. I mean, it could have been really good. I love the cast list. I mean, come on, you got Emmy Rossum. She's always a given. But yeah, they were trying to capitalize on the Twilight crave and everything. It just did not succeed, the Twilight stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, also turning 10, we got Escape from Planet Earth, which is a really okay anime film. That was actually directed by Kyle Bruckner, who also will go on to direct the Paw Patrol movie. And this features the voices of Brendan Fraser, Rob Corddry, Jessica Alba, George Lopez, Sarah Jessica Parker, William Shatner. And it takes place on planet Bob, where dashing astronaut Scorch Supernova, voiced by Brendan Fraser, is a natural hero and master of daring rescues, but he does not really work alone as nerdy brother Gary, played by Rob Corddry, heads of mission control ambassador, also known as NASA, often lends quiet behind the scenes support here. And now this anime film is not great or anything. It was which, yeah, it's not great there, but it was actually an okay anime film. I thought the voice talent was really decent. The animation was cool. I mean, I thought it was It was an okay film, in my opinion. All right. Okay. Turning 20, we of course got the first Daredevil film. Now, of course, this had Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner, Michael Clark Duncan, and here you got of course Ben Affleck who plays the role of Marvel's blind superhero here, and of course you had Kyle Farrell as Bullseye, Alan Pompeo was in this, Kevin Smith, John Favreau before he crossed his Spider-Man here. I mean, the first Daredevil is not a great film, but it actually definitely has his perks. I know Ben Affleck, of course, before he became Batman, I know he did a good job as Daredevil. I mean, obviously now when you think of Daredevil, you think of Charlie Cox and all. But I thought Affleck really nailed this character perfectly. The uncut version is actually better than the actual theatrical version, in my opinion. But it's not a bad flick in my today. But yeah, it is what it is there. We also got All the Real Girls that turns 20, which was directed by David Gordon Green, who will later go on to direct the recent Halloween movies, the upcoming Exorcist. He also did like Pineapple Express. I mean, very intriguing filmography right there. But All the Real Girls stars Paul Schneider along with Zoe Deschanel, Danny McBride, Patricia Clarkson, Shea Wiggum. And here's what the film's about. Paul, played by Paul Schneider, is living it up as a small town Casanova, happily hoping for one night on stand to the next. When Noelle, played by Zoe Deschanel, the virginal younger sister of his best friend Tip, played by Shea Wiggum, returns home grown up and gorgeous, Paul falls for her because she's Zoe Deschanel. Um, but because of his sordid past, Tip is suspicious of his pal's attentions to make his relationship with Noelle work. I mean, not a bad film here. I mean, Zoe Deschanel was really good. Of course, David Gordon Green was actually coming off of his first feature, George Washington, which was pretty good. So yeah, I think he did a decent job with this film. Really, like the chemistry between Schneider and Deschanel was really good. So really decent little film. If you guys haven't seen that. Also turning 20, we got The Jungle Book 2. Of course, this I believe this was actually theatrical. I was like I always thought this thing actually went home to video, like one of those home video Disney movies. But yeah, this was actually the theatrical one. Of course, you had John Goodman voicing Baloo the Bear, Haley Joe Osment as Mowgli, Mia Whitman as Shanti, of course, you had the late great Tony J back as Shere Khan. If you guys don't know much about the story for the sequel, Wild Child Mowgli, voiced by Haley Joe Osment, has grown fidgety with his life in the rural village. So he sneaks back to like the jungle with to be with his animal friends, including Baloo, voiced by John Goodman. And Mowgli's disappearance worries his family, so his stepsister Shanti, played by Mia Whitman, journeys into the jungle to find him, but all is not well there. As Mowgli's foe, the fierce tiger Shere Khan, is out to get him here. And I mean, obviously, it's not as good as the original Jungle Book, but I remember watching this as a kid. I had a fun time with the sequel. I mean, this is actually one of my favorite rare Disney animated sequels to come out in years. This and maybe Return to Neverland are actually pretty good. Um, but yeah, the original Jungle Book, released in 1967, is such an iconic one. And of course, like years later, they will go on to do the sequel. And it's actually really decent. It's cute, charming. It's not a bad film, in my opinion. All right, now film turning dirty. Holy cow! We of course got Groundhog Day, directed by Harold Ramis, starring Bill Murray, Andy McDowell, Chris Elliott. Of course, it's this movie pretty much paved way for the time loop genre. Of course, here you got Bill Murray, who plays the TV weatherman, who finds himself reliving the same day over and over again when he goes on location to a small town in Pennsylvania to film a report about the annual Groundhog Day. And of course, Groundhog Day, just came and went. Got that. I mean, Groundhog Day is such a fun film. I mean, it's such a '90s classic. Bill Murray is great in this. Andy McDowell's good. Of course, like I said, this movie really paved the way for time loop films that we will see with stuff like Happy Death Day, Source Code. We've seen this type of stuff going. This type of genre go on time and time again. So, of course, Edge of Tomorrow is a really good example. Groundhog Day is a really fun film, in my opinion. So, yeah, if you guys have never seen it, it is such a really classic one and worth checking out. All right, also turning on 20, we got Peter Jackson's horror film Dead Alive. Before Peter Jackson, guys, you guys gotta remember, realize this. Before, like the stuff like Lord of the Rings came out, King Kong, Peter Jackson would go on to direct these like low budget horror films, and one of which was Dead Alive. The plot follows Lionel, a young man living in South Wellington with his strict mother Vera after Lionel becomes romantically entangled with a girl named Patwika. Um, Vera is bitten by a hybrid rat monkey creature and begins to transform into a zombie while also affecting swatches of the city's populace. And this is a really extreme film. I mean, it is of course a body horror film. It is so crazy, so insane to watch. I mean, really good fun. All right. We also got like the Temp, which is a 1993 American neo noir drill that was directed by Child's Play director Tom Holland and starred Timothy Hutton, Lara Flamboyant, and Faye Dunaway. The plot follows like a troubled businessman whose life is upturned after the arrival of a mysterious female temp worker in his office here. You got Oliver Platt, Steven Weber, Dwight Schultz, Mira Turning. I mean, really decent driller here. So yeah, not a bad flick. Last but not least, we also got Untamed Hearts, which starred Christian Slater, Marissa Tomei, Rosa Perez, Willie Garson. And it's the story of an unlikely romance between young women, unlikely in love, and a shy young man who has a heart of effect here. And the chemistry between Slater and Tomei is really good. So not a bad like little romantic film from 30 years ago. So really decent flick. But that's pretty much it. Let me leave with you guys. Which of these films stand out to you the most? Not anything too much of the 10-year one, in my opinion. Probably my favorite one on that list is maybe say Haven, which is yeah, that's probably the best film on that list, in my opinion. Of course, that. The 20-year one, I'm actually gonna go with Ben Affleck's Daredevil, unless you only if you're counting the uncut version. And the 30-year one, no question about it, Groundhog Day. Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Simmer Sign.